and writer Ava DuVernay will be honored there as well.
It is unacceptable that they use their power and keep us voiceless.
We are search warriors.
So difficult to talk about mass incarceration because it has become heavily monetized.
Warriors who serve the good and the light in the universe.
That's some of her work, and when you look at this clash over history at the Smithsonian, we reach for a wise political observer and writer, George Orwell, who famously warned, who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. I'll leave that up for a second, because what he meant was, by controlling our understanding of history, you can control politics of the future. And of course, if you have power today, you might control that past. A deep thought for a troubled time. We're joined by Ava DuVernay. Her new Substack, Onward, launches tonight. We're happy to share that artistic news as well. Welcome.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Great to have you. We'll get to your honor and everything else, but let's start with that Orwell observation. We've all heard the term Orwellian, and what's happening at the Smithsonian, because I took a look at the administration's arguments, as we always do, to see if they have merit, to see what examples they had. But their example was that accurate history about racial oppression itself, they say, should be removed.
Yes, I mean, I actually take great solace in actually reading these executive orders, because their level of absurdity actually calms me. It reminds me that we're being gaslit. It reminds me about the chaos that is being stirred through the very language to say that there's a restoration of truth and sanity. And then when you actually read that order, it is it's laughable. And to do that helps me kind of cut through the emotion of it, because I'm an artist, I'm an emotional person, to really kind of pierce through that and look for what's real within it. And what's real in these documents is history. It comes to life in the executive orders, because within the executive orders, we are reminded of that same language in the past and how that turned out. And so by actually reading it myself, not just getting a synopsis or a summary on the news, I felt fortified in the fact that what we're hearing is nonsense, and really trying to create some steps forward for myself as an artist and the people around me.
I like that. I like what you're kind of reminding us, which is it can be upsetting or befuddling, but sometimes just actually taking it in and saying, oh, that's how thin the argument is, and there's still a world out here of people who care about facts, history, and the arts. Speak on the influence of the power of culture, because it's something we've taken an interest in here on The Beat. And I don't know what it means when people meet up on it, but at a certain point you say, oh, if this film or this song, right, has all these fans and people love it, and then it has all these opponents and enemies who hate it. They hate it so much they don't want it to exist. To me, that sometimes reinforces that culture is powerful. And when we look at the many American traditions, but which includes a lot of homemade black art that seems to matter, or even, I should say numerically, might punch above its weight. The weight of jazz or blues above its numerical representation, right? What do you see there at a time like this?
Well, jazz and blues and African-American art over-indexes from its origins to its echoing and reverberations to the culture. But overall, the impact of art on the culture is priceless. It's seismic. And that is why it's under fire. If you can shut up the artists, if you can make us look away from history, then you do, as the quote that you stated before, you do control minds, you control the moment. And so what is important is for artists to continue to create. All art is homemade and handmade. It's heart-made. And it comes from someone who expresses their point of view about the human condition. And whether that's political, cultural, whether it's about your lineage, whether it's about what's happening in the White House, it's coming from a deep place of human expression. It must be. It's different than news. It's different than anything that is objective, because art is deeply emotional. It's
better than news, I'll tell you that.
I'm not going there, Ari, but we can battle if you want. But it all has its place, and I think, for me, as a student of history, I know there's so many examples of moments where art has really lifted the national mood when it's actually propelled us forward. And we're back to that place, and it's important that we continue to do our work.
Thanks for watching the